So where have I been? Well, I actually got a new job, so I was kind of focusing on like learning how to do that properly and stuff before I got back to like my hobbies, like making YouTube videos and making comic books. Which, if you didn't know, I make comic books. If you're interested, I'll leave some links in the description. I did, however, read a book while I was gone, and it was Misery. I'm sure you guys were waiting for like over a month to find out what it would be, right? All like uh, few of you. Anyway, so I usually script these out a little, at least a little bit. Like I'll write some notes or something, but this is like about as off the cuff as it can get. So yeah, overall, Misery is a good book. I'm sorry that the damage it's in. It's a very old. This is a very old copy. It's like my mom's or my grandma's or something, but it's just at my house. I don't even remember how it got here. Anyway, for a Stephen King book, it's pretty short. It's kind of a quick, easy read. It's he doesn't go into nearly as much detail as he usually does in his books, where like he'll he paints a picture with the scene, but like he paints like every single detail of that picture. And by paint, I mean describes it with words, because he's an author, not a painter. Why am I using this metaphor again? Anyway, this one, like I said, it goes a lot faster. He doesn't go into quite as much detail with all the things, but like he still paints a pretty and sometimes pretty painful picture. It's about this guy named Paul Sheldon. He is an author of this romance series called Misery, starring a character of the same name. He like makes money off those books, but it's like not really what he wants to do, and the past few years he's gotten pretty tired of writing them, and finally he's released the last one. Misery was killed off, and he is super excited to be done. Well, on his way to get his new book published that he's been working on for 2 years, called Fast Cars, Total Change of Pace from the Misery series, he actually crashes in this snowstorm in Colorado, and is rescued by his self-proclaimed #1 fan. Now, the rest of the plot, I'm going to kind of go into a little bit of spoiler territory, so if you don't want to hear any of that, you can go ahead and skip to whatever that time is down there. But for the rest of you, let's get going. So yeah, his legs are like super messed up from this car crash, and he's laying in this bed owned by this woman named Annie Wilkes, who, like she says, is his #1 fan. She's like splinted his legs up, and they're still like janky looking, but it's better than what they would have been, I suppose. She is a huge fan of the Misery series in particular, and is not too happy when she finds out that Misery's dead. She's also really not a fan of his new novel, Fast Cars, calling it trash and making him burn his only copy, which, if you're an author, that's like your baby. Making it burn it page by page, basically, in a charcoal grill that she brings into his room. And he, doesn't want to do it. But she decides that it's going to be a good idea for him to write a new Misery novel and bring Misery back. But, as expected, every time he does something that she doesn't really like in the book, it's kind of a negative reaction. And, just Annie's not really there to begin with. As you read the book, you find out more and more things that she's done in the past, and you find out way more things that she does to Paul. I know this is the spoiler talk, but, like, I really don't want to get in it too much, because if you haven't read the book, I just think you should do it. I know there is a movie adaptation. I haven't seen the movie adaptation. I've heard good things. Like, my friends and my mom say it's, like, one of their favorite movies. Again, I've never seen it, never read the book. This is my first introduction to the story. There's a thumb and a birthday cake at one point. That's the spoiler you get for the spoiler section, okay? Good job for making it through. Now it's not spoilers anymore. It was awesome. It was really good. It was really graphic. It was brutal. You are really in the shoes of Paul Sheldon throughout this ordeal. And honestly, I can't recommend this book enough. If I have to give it a rating, I'm probably going to give it an 8 out of 10. I know that's probably the highest score I've given any book so far, but there's a couple of the other books that I wish I would have given an 8 out of 10 too. Maybe even something higher. Yeah, definitely check this one out. If I can hit it. There we go. Check this one out. You know what? Fuck it. It's a 9 out of 10 now. It's 9. Fight me.